Yes, 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 people. What's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash a like and make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm racing towards 6K and every new subscriber helps. So please do hit that button if you haven't done so. And let's dive into today's video. And with the Lewis Hall news breaking last night, with the move to Newcastle becoming ever closer, it's brought around that debate again about Chelsea's use of the academy and are the club right to be selling academy stars for pure profit to try and balance the books after the spending spree that we have been on since Todd Boehly and co have come into the club. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on Lewis Hall, going to give you my thoughts on the academy situation and whether the club are right or wrong to be doing this, because the Lewis Hall news has made a lot of people very, very angry. One thing I want to caveat this with to begin with, guys, is that no one's complained about our spending and the signings that we've brought in. You know, we're all delighted that Moises Caicedo is coming. We're delighted that Romeo Lavia is coming. We're delighted about Enzo Fernandez. We're delighted about all these signings that we've brought in. We're really pleased about that. But what were we expecting? The books are going to have to be balanced in some way. And also, the squad is going to have to be trimmed in some way as well. And whether we like it or not, some of the academy stars are going to be sold because A, it's pure profit on the books. B, the squad needs to be trimmed down. And C, they are some of the most saleable assets that we have in the squad. And that is a testament to Cobham as an academy for the quality of player that we produce. But I think it's, look, look, for what it's worth, I don't think Chelsea should be selling Lewis Hall, but I'm not up in arms and going mad about it and talking like it's a sort of an absolute unbelievable disaster to be selling an 18-year-old for 35 million quid who's played 12 games for the club. Like, I think he should stay because I think he's very talented and can play a prominent role. But we have to look at this in two ways. Like, A, Lewis Hall obviously signed the new 6-year contract extension, which again, and was then going to go on loan to Crystal Palace. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever that the club have suddenly changed their mind in such a short space of time. But the reality is that maybe, you know, he wants to go. He'd be happy to go to Newcastle. He's a boyhood Newcastle fan. It's Champions League football. And he probably sees a better chance of getting first team minutes at Newcastle than he does at Chelsea. And now, is that a failure on the club? Is that a failure on Chelsea for not showing a way for Lewis Hall to get into the team? I don't know. The Lewis Hall situation is a complex one. There's no two ways about it. There's so many elements to it. A new contract and was going to be loaned out, and then left back and central midfield are blocked at Chelsea. He's also an academy player, and it's pure FFP profit. It's hard to shift Cucurella. We know that. Hall wants regular minutes. He hardly played any minutes under Poch in pre-season. All those points above, when you look into it, they point to the exit door. Most of us didn't read the signs. What I would say is that the new contract's baffling. I personally would have liked to have seen the loan at Palace and then take a look at him again. But clearly, something has changed rapidly in that situation. And, you know, people are going on like it's going to be the worst mistake we've ever made. And, you know, Chelsea have sold academy players before. Other clubs sell academy players all the time. The big difference for me is that if you're winning, like Manchester City do, like other teams that win regularly do, no one cares if you sell youth players. Do you really think Man City fans are thinking, fuck, we are so gutted we sold Romeo Lavia, you know, an unbelievable talent that's ended up at Chelsea now. I'm so gutted we sold Lavia. They don't care. They've gone on and won trebles. They've gone on and won everything there is to win. They don't care. And this is what I mean. Winning means winning. You seem to forget about whether you've sold your academy stars. Look at the list of academy players of the year that we've had at Chelsea over the last few years, guys. And are we that bothered that any of those have left right now? Let's have a look at it. Dominic Solanke, are we bothered that he's left? No. Are we bothered that Fikayo Tomori is left? At the time, yes, I thought it was a terrible piece of business. But as the years have gone by, are we bothered he's left? No, because we've got Thiago Silva. We have the emergence of Levi Colwell. We've got Badia Shile. We've got Axel Disasi. We've got Wesley Fofana. Are we bothered that Tomori's left? No. Are we bothered that Mason Mount has left now? Look, I personally would have liked Mason Mount to have stayed. But, you know, now that he's gone, the players he bought in the direction the club's going in, are we going to be that bothered that Mason Mount's left? No. Reece James is still here because he's world-class and he's unbelievable. Conor Gallagher, another one. Are we bothered if he leaves? No, not really. Probably he could be a squad player under Pochettino and I wouldn't mind him staying. But if he leaves, are we really going to be that upset about it? No. Are we that bothered about Billy Gilmore leaving? No, because we've got Enzo Fernandez, we've got Moises Caicedo, we've got Romeo Lavia, we've got Carney Chukwuemeka. Are we bothered that he's left? No. Are we bothered now that Tino Livramento has left the club? No, because we've got other options there. Harvey Bell, the most recent, a recent Academy Player of the Year, has barely played for the Chelsea first team. He's going on loan to Bristol Rovers. he's probably not good enough. Are we bothered about that? No. Are we bothered about Lewis Hall? Right now, yes. But if Lewis Hall does leave, are we going to be that bothered that he's gone if we've got Ben Chilwell, if Mark Correa becomes good, if we go and sign someone else, if Ian Martin does well, are we really going to be bothered if Lewis Hall is left? If we go and win trophies in the next few years, which I think we will and we're capable of, are we really going to be that bothered that Lewis Hall has left the club? No, we're not going to be that bothered. And football, and that might sound fickle, but football fans are fickle. Winning's all that matters. And we'll soon forget about Lewis Hall being sold to Newcastle United if we go on and win big trophies. No one will really be that bothered. No one's going to be thinking, oh, we've won the FA Cup, we've won whatever it is, the league or whatever in the next few years. But I wish we hadn't sold Lewis Hall. No one's going to be saying that because the proof will be in the pudding. And at the end of the day, if this is a decision from Pochettino, then right now he hasn't done anything wrong and he deserves to be backed in the decisions that he makes. And if in time it proves that Poch, has made a mistake on this one, he'll have to hold that L and he'll hold it. But right now, if it's the manager's decision, then we need to back the manager on this one. Lewis Hall, I think, is a fantastic player, got loads of great attributes. But if we're being perfectly honest, the midfield path at Chelsea's blocks, the left-back path at Chelsea's blocks right now, if he wants to go out and play regular minutes, then he's not going to get them at Chelsea. He's grown up a Newcastle fan, and he would like to play Champions League football, and he gets to play under a great manager in Eddie Howe. So it's not on us. Look, I'm not saying that he's pushing to leave. Of course, he'd be happy to stay at Chelsea if there are minutes there. He'd be happy to go on loan to Palace, but he'd also be very, very happy to go and play for Newcastle United in the Champions League under Eddie Howe. And having grown up a Newcastle fan, this move probably suits all parties. It's £35 million for someone that's 18 years old, has only played 12 games for the club. Look, he could go on and become an absolute world beater, but he could also go on and become like half of the other players. He could go on and become someone like a Solanke or whatever. There's no guarantees that he's going to continue his trajectory and go on and become a world-class player. We don't know that, and we can't be just dealing in ifs and buts with this one. But look, in terms of the academy itself, the role of the academy is twofold, and it always has been twofold at every single club. It's to produce players good enough to play for the first team, and it's also to make you a profit as well. Not every single player is going to be good enough to play for the first team that comes through the academy. You will produce some very good players. Even off that list there, I've missed off Trevor Chalobah, Mark Guehi. Obviously Chalobah's up for sale. Is anyone really that bothered now that Chalobah's going to be leaving? No, they're not, because of the options that we've already got at the club. Is anyone now that asked that Mark Guehi's left the club? No, they're not, because of the options we've got at the club. So this is what I'm saying. If you're good enough, you will play for the club, and there'll be a way for you to get into the team, like we have seen with Reece James like we're seeing with Reece James right now, like we saw with Mason Mount at when he came through, like we've seen with Ruben Loftus-Cheek for a number of years. If you are good enough, you will play and you will get minutes and you will get opportunities, like we're going to see with Levi Colwill now. Callum Hudson-Odoi, arguably the most talented player that's come through Cobham over the last few years, or ever potentially, from what a lot of people say. And he's going now, and he's not been the same player for a number of years. No one cares about that now either. This is what I mean. Right now, it might seem raw, but ultimately, we have to trust the club to make the right decisions. And if you are good enough, you will get to the first team and you will play. It is as simple as that. And it's this ridiculous narrative that the owners don't like Cobham and they just see it as an FFP cash cow. It's nonsense. Reece James, captain. We are going to see Levi Colwill playing a prominent role in the future of Chelsea going forward. If you're good enough, you will play. And the reality of the situation is right now that some academy stars will be sold for profit. And I don't have an issue with that, as long as the replacements that come in are good and as long as the team go on to be successful. But I can't sit here today and say that if Lewis Hall leaves and joins Newcastle, that is an absolute disaster and that Chelsea aren't going to be the same again and we're going to regret that for years to come. As I said, we go on to win trophies. No one's talking about the academy players that are left. But if you are good enough, guys, that's what it boils down to. No one cares about those academy players that have left if you're good enough and you're winning. And that's the reality. It's the situation at Man City, as a reference with Lavia and other players. But if you're winning, people don't care about the youth. People aren't going to be crying about the youth team players that have left. So it's important now that Chelsea go on and start winning things for sure. But no one's complaining about the business we've done, the recruitment and the players we've bought in. But that's going to have to come at a price. And if that means selling Lewis Hall, and it's enabled us, and we have to do that, to help balance the books after bringing in the likes of Caicedo, Lavia, and these guys, then maybe, unfortunately, that's the harsh reality, and that's the price that we have to pay. Yes, you can argue that other academy graduates should be sold before him, the likes of Broja, Chalobah, Conor Gallagher, etc. I absolutely hear that. But the main point of this video is that, you know, we shouldn't be afraid of selling our academy stars. Not every academy player is going to be good enough to make the first team. And people need to realize and stop having this attachment to the academy that every single player that comes through is going to be good enough to play for the first team. They aren't. And it's demonstrated that they're not going to be good enough to play for the first team. And we get good profit and good money for some of these players who go on and have good careers elsewhere. But ultimately, they're not good enough for Chelsea. And the main thing is, guys, that if you're good enough, you will play. It's clear something's happened with Lewis Hall behind the scenes. It's clear that Pochettino maybe doesn't fancy him. And that's on the manager. And we have to trust the manager, whether we agree or disagree with it or not. But guys, that is my thoughts on the academy, on the situation at Chelsea right now. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments about the Lewis Hall situation, about the academy. Are Chelsea right or wrong to be selling academy stars for profit? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you smash a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I'll catch you again in another video soon. Take care. Up the Chelsea, and peace out, guys.